Should we put this over
Oh,
here?
yeah,
Or...
maybe it's unboxing sound.
Yeah, we'll have like a little mini studio.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wow. Right, okay. Hello to all the listeners. This is Sonia Smullen hosting again, and today we are going to be speaking to Ieva Ievina. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, good morning. It's kind of early where we are now. And my name is Ieva Ievina. I am from Latvia originally. At the moment, I live in London, obviously, because we are recording this from London, Wimbledon, where we study, me and Sonia. We both are studying in third year theatre design. What else about me? I started off as a dancer, I guess, my first career. That's what happened. And then life changed and I decided to pursue another education. And here I am.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Here is actually the cafeteria, so we've decided to change the setting. Anyway, so the reason why we've got you here to speak today is to talk about your transition from being a performer and a dancer on the stage and then going off stage to be the designer. So maybe give some background into the way you got into dance, and just start off there.
And the journey.
Yeah, the journey
from the beginning. It was very interesting because I started dancing from like 3 years old, and it's been in my life since I remember myself, really, since the first memories. But it's always just was my hobby and something like that until I around age 19-20 I started traveling a lot, backpacking and hitchhiking across Europe, and then backpacking in Central America and crazy stuff like that. And then I spent quite a lot of time in Guatemala as a volunteer, and there I realized that what are we doing? Why people there are extremely happy, but they don't have much. People who go on the street are welcoming. You can see sun in their smile, and they're just lovely. But they don't have much. They're not rich or wealthy. They have to go to local. How you call this? Where you get the water?
Pump.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's very simple life, but they all happen. And then I ask myself, why do I, living in the first world country, like in Europe, why do I always feel a little depressed or a bit odd?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have so much, and because we are maybe money or material directed. And then I ask myself, what does make me happy? And the answer instantly was dance. Really performing, dance, when I'm on the stage, it makes me happy. And then I was like, why don't I do it then? Why would I deny something like that to myself? Okay, maybe because it's a tricky career, or it doesn't give you a lot of... You won't be a rich and wealthy dancer, but it would make me happy. So I guess that's when I was in Guatemala, that's when I made the decision to pursue this career.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get back, I found a university, and I was lucky enough to get figure out money and start university in Barcelona.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So how long were you a dancer on the stage?
On the stage, it was. So I started. It was 3 years in uni, and then after I did some gigs and some side work also during uni, especially in third year. But then off uni, I was 3-4 years, around 3 years, yeah.
And Okay, I think that's
4 years.
yeah, good to know. So yeah, I think the interest here is the shift in perspective. So when you made that change, when you decided to change your career, was there any sort of tension or conflict to wanting to move into something completely different? Because obviously I know that and also for a lot of people, if you're going to university to study one thing, it is, expected, or there is this sort of assumption that you're going to continue this for the rest of your life, and this is you.
Yes.
So did you have that kind of from people around you being like, so how are you changing? Did you have that? Or?
Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. Like, because also from myself, because originally I wanted to do theater design as my master's, because I have bachelor in dance, dance performance, and I thought, okay, maybe I can just do master's, like continue from my BA to do master's, because I know how much work is BA degrees, like 3 years. Again, you move to another country, like I just assumed like it wouldn't be in Latvia, like obviously, but so you move to another country, new social life, again, like I've been there already, so it was very, from that perspective, it was like, oh, I just want to sit down. Like, oh God. And then I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I can do master's. So it's only 1 year or 2 years, depends on the country. And yeah. And then I started to look at the master's programs and everything. I actually even applied to one. I wasn't accepted because obviously, like, now I know how much work you have to, like.
Yeah, but still, like, you still applied.
Yeah, I still applied, And and then I realized during my research that, okay, this is not gonna work, and I'll have to do masters. But back to your question, like also from other people, yes, people were like, okay, so dance, like, what you're gonna study choreography now, or where are you gonna go? And yes, although I think it matched also with a little bit of my personal life, going bonkers, this situation. So, and I kind of escaped from society. I went back to Latvia, and then I went to backpacking in Estonia. So actually I didn't contact many people, so my friends, and I don't think many people even followed in this my journey of making decision, because it was a little difficult, I will have to admit. Like, I had to overstep my own boundaries, my own kind of, I think, like, I'm kind of I have a lot of pride, I guess, and then I already can achieve something in one career, and then not to say abandon it, but kind of like, oh, okay, go back to level 1, to make that decision. So yeah.
Okay. So let's shift on to you as a designer now. Like 3 years later, you're designing, you're in your final year. How is that? How is your previous career as a dancer and on the stage? How has that informed your design process now, or the way you design stage? Does it have an impact or not?
I think it definitely does, subconsciously, for sure. Like, I wouldn't think, when I do any design ideas now, I wouldn't think that, oh yeah, as a performer I would want this and this to happen on the stage. I think it's more on subconscious level, because I've spent so much time on stage. But it definitely affects, in some level.
So you say in a subconscious way. I'm trying to make you think about your subconscious. So maybe like, how do you think strategically when you say, okay, I need to design for this space? What do you think about? Is it possibly about the space, or how many people are on stage, the balance of the...
I think it's more into technical things.
Okay.
Let's say about where the lighting is from. If there is a very low frontal light, I know that, oh god, this is gonna make people dizzy, like for performers dizzy. Or if there are steps in the set, how big are the steps and who's gonna climb the steps? If there's doorway, how the door, because I know, like, and or if there is a dress change on the stage, one actor or dancer takes helps to dress another one. I know how wrong it can go. Like, like I think it's more into, like, I constantly in my design, I constantly think about the logistics, like the logics and the technicalities of it, and kind of I think from that perspective, and of course also from more poetic way, like how would it make feel, would performer make feel in the space.
Okay.
But I think mostly, it's actually the technicalities.
So you put yourself into, correct me if I'm wrong, but you put yourself into the performer's position, because I actually don't do that at all. I never really.
That's interesting.
So
this is actually kind of the first thing. Oh, that's funny.
I never imagine myself as the performer on the set. I just see it as the audience.
It's so cool you asked me actually this, because I thought, see, subconscious level, because I thought everyone does that.
Well, maybe other people do, and I just
maybe you don't.
Maybe I've got it all wrong. But that's really interesting how you place yourself on your own stage, and you're able to.
Let's say also yesterday, me and Eileen, my partner, what I'm designing for now, we're designing Electra, and we did this kind of how to say, like, it's kind of like, well, roughly it's a box that opens, but and inside there's a room, let's say, and we don't know yet what's going to be the material of the surfaces, so we can't decide if it's going to be a human height or it's going to be a little shorter. So meaning if the actress Electra, if she will have to stand in the box and she opens the walls, or she will have to be on her knees doing that. And then I was picturing her, she's going to be on her knees. Okay, that's going to be awkward. So meaning she wouldn't have to stay there too long. Okay, and if she's like, from that, I'm like, where is going to be the little mechanism where to open the door, or where she's going to reach. Like, it kind of, like, I imagine me being in this structure what I'm designing.
That's just blown my mind away. I can't believe
but it's funny because I never even actually paid attention to it. Like, it's automatically been there.
Well, I'll keep a note of that for my own.
Maybe also I mean.
Okay, I love this point, but I don't know how to progress on that yet. Maybe this is, but from the point of view of collaboration, how do you see the parallels? Because I remember you mentioned before you do have this kind of, you're able to implement your skills from a dancer through the collaboration process. How explain
that one? I think it definitely helps also from a collaborative perspective with the creative team of the production, like where's my role and how to interact with others. So, like, as a dancer, you spend so much time on stage, especially like in tech rehearsals, like blocking the lights or something, and you just sit there and wait for technicians to block your light, and then you go to the next position. You again sit there, you chat with your mates or you stretch, but you just. And meanwhile, while you sit on the stage, we're usually cold, and when you sit on the stage, you kind of look up and you look around and you see the people, the stage managers running around, and they're. So I've been watching that for so long.
So you know the roles, individual roles.
And also the backstage roles, who. The hair and makeup department, the costume department, where you have to go if something breaks, that kind of thing.
Do you feel integrated in production process as a dancer?
Oh, that's a really good question.
I feel that there is this sort of, the dancers have their choreography, and then the production team comes and they create this other thing, and then they slice it, they piece it together. But yeah, how is it as a dancer?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think kind of yes and no. Depends on the production, I guess. Sometimes dancers feel like, oh, okay, they make us wear this or wear this, and like I can't even do my steps like that. Like they don't even think about me. Like what am I supposed to do? Okay, I'm a professional. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
Like sometimes if there's maybe bigger production and like the team doesn't communicate as much, or there's like. Also, like it takes only one in the team that can kind of like mess up all the experience. You know, one black drop in the water is gonna make it gray in a way. You know, but most of my experience have been really nice. Like, and I have felt like I'm part of it. With building it, like with being there, and then not maybe like massively, like okay. Let's change all this backdrop now, or like I don't like this lighting, or we should stop the music here. But yeah, in some sort of way, yeah, because like performance in general is like a very fragile mechanism, and every piece of it's like a watch, you know, every piece of the mechanism do their work, and if one falls off, like it's gonna be crippled. And it's not gonna be as nice. Of course it could, like always show goes on or whatever, but yeah, like everything has to be in sync, and each person is as important as the next one, and director is as important as, you know, the sound 3.
This is just making me think. So I feel, because with your background as a dancer, you have a kind of respect to the full production team, because you're the one on stage and you're relying on them. You're in this kind of vulnerable position almost. So you see everything happening together, and then on stage. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but...
No, but you're completely right, like, actually, because, like, we actors and dancers, we are the one taking the risk. Like, we go on the stage, and if my wig falls off, if my dress breaks, or if the music stops, we are the exposed ones. So, actually, everyone plays with yeah, like it's kind of like the puppets. But like, if someone in the team doesn't do their job right, and something goes wrong in the production, like the audience is gonna see us, and you're gonna be taking the blame. Like taking the blame, of course, but no, sorry, being in the awkward position.
Yeah.
In a way, like I mean, of course, like people know it's not their fault or la la la, but yeah, it's funny. You looked at it, yeah.
Yeah, that is funny. Okay, so I don't know why, but I wrote in my thing. What does the word success mean?
Oh,
I don't know why, but
yeah,
success is a performer, and then success is a designer.
Right,
and I have no idea
why you wrote it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Why not? Oh, that's interesting. Like, you mean has that changed?
Yeah, is there a different meaning to the word success?
I think no. I think no, because like success for me is something very internal. I'm so demanding for myself, and I always been. And that's why maybe also the change I did in career change was so hard for me, because I was quite successful as a dancer, and I was okay with that until I wasn't. And then now also like it's fine, but and also it's like how demanding I am from myself, and there's never enough for my success. I think like I could be designing Met in New York, like
it's just you're kind of this constant cycle of chasing, and I don't know if you've experienced this. But I personally experienced this kind of thing where I realised that no matter how much validation I got from outside, if I didn't feel the success from inside, it wouldn't
100%.
matter.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, which is kind of sad in a way, because, you know, like we have to appreciate our good moments, you know, but like there's, and because, yeah.
Yeah, how do you actually measure the success?
Yeah, right, you can't really.
Yeah, anyway, I think, yeah, it was interesting to point that out. And then I wanted to go on to ask, is designing for stage performative in any way?
Oh, that's actually really cool. I want to say yes. I want to say yes because
I think we should say yes.
Yeah, right.
I think there is an element.
Yeah, there is definitely an element. Like performative in different angles. Let's say it's performative in the way how you talk about it to your director or to your collaborators. Firstly, you're like, okay, so my idea is, and you kind of pretend that you're so sure about your idea. So you perform, you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be wonderful, there's gonna be chair there and line there, and this is gonna be great. And inside of you, you're like, holy shit, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, I mean,
you kind of have to sell your product. There is this kind of businessman.
Yeah, definitely. Like you have to sell yourself.
Convince everyone else, even though you don't know.
You're a little like, yeah. And in that way, I think it's performed already. And also, in case of making it, I think, like it is like performance. We straight assign it to something physical movement. But performance might be also some kind of like thought process in a way. Like I want to be very abstract and poetic maybe, but I want to believe that. Let's say like you start from the sketch, and then you try in a model box, and then you maybe put it in like 3D, and then you think about some, I don't know, some kind of like there's.
It's choreographed.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Like in a way.
Yeah.
Performance, because like what is performance? Is to show storytelling for someone. But can you maybe just storytell for yourself? So you're kind of performing for your.
Well, actually, I don't know what is performative. Like, what is performative to you? Actually,
it's a good question. I think performance in first reaction is a storytelling. I think, form of storytelling.
Really?
I think so. Like performer, performer for me is a messenger. So if it's an actor, it's a messenger from a play or whatever to audience. If it's opera singer, it's from libretto, whatever, like opera to orchestra or dancer is from the choreographer or whatever we're recreating, or the ballet to an audience, right? So a performer, in my perspective, is a messenger in a way. It's an artist. Of course, it goes through filter, to your filter, because no one can perform the same. I mean, okay, cabaret, but like, corps de ballets. But still, if you look closer, they all are different. Performance. So if I continue from this one, then logically, performance have to be the act of telling the story. So yes. So, but then if you, it's. I think, I guess that.
No, I'm actually confused myself. Like, I'm talking about performative, but I don't really. I know. To me, I think performative is when you play a role that is.
Like pretending?
Not pretending, because I think in every situation we're performing according to our audience. Like if I take you and me, I'm performing in this podcast. A certain. You know. So I think we're always performing.
Okay, that is very, because you're right. Like we are always, like, let's say I'm with you a little different than I'm with or Lucy, like or the head teacher. and it's still me. But yes, that you put some kind of with you are more natural. Like I'm, but there's still, I guess, some kind of like depending what we do maybe together. Like we do a podcast now. We will perform, I guess, for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a performative performer. We're all performers in a way, and I think it's just a role that you play, but we do it so rapidly, so it doesn't seem, kind of strange or odd.
Well, that's even like Shakespeare said that, like all the stage, like life is a stage, and we all are merely performers.
Yeah.
Like so, it is kind of like that, I guess. Like, 'cause we're living these stories, and we can. But then a performer on the stage, okay, you can do improv, I guess, and you can make your own decisions. Because like in life, we are improvising all the time. It's like improvisation.
I think improvisation is still performance.
It is, absolutely, it is. It is, yeah.
We've gone into performance.
It's such an interesting topic.
So the question I asked at the beginning of this performance discussion was: is designing for stage performative?
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add to that? And I don't know why I added "and" there.
It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
I think I just want to say yes, and I guess also like later when you see your design on stage, it is performing. It is performing together with the bodies on the stage. I think so. You created like also
some of your essence is on the stage, and I wonder how that feels to see that.
To see that. Yeah, it must be feel good. Because also, like, when an actor is interacting with your set, like even opening the doors or moving newspaper around or whatever, or when the light travels around, the shadow goes, or like, different. It is also telling a story. The structure, the whatever, even the sound, right? So, like, I think it's doing it hand in hand with the performer on the stage.
Yeah, I like what you said there, and it reminds me of this article that I read about. It was to do with sustainable making.
Of course it
was. So a few designers, they collaborated and they created this structure that could be adapted, but they called the structure and the design that they made as an actor itself that could that had the ability to transform itself in different productions. And that's kind of like what you were saying about the stage, how it's also performing with the dancers when you construct it. So
that's cool, because they maybe were aware of it as it also is an organism.
Yeah.
Moreover, if it's like sustainable, you can more feel it. But 100%. Like even we know when something gets destroyed on the stage. We've seen these performances. I don't know, either like there's paint on the walls or you smash them. They had their life.
The life.
The life of the. So actually, to be fair, I didn't even think about this before you asked me this. So that's so cool.
No, it's nice to just let it. Okay, I'm going to ask you about some limitations then. Do you, I guess you wouldn't know if you do experience some limitations when designing, because it's like part of your subconscious, as you said. But do you experience any frustrations when you design because you have this prior knowledge of the space?
I think yes, I do. I think it also develops from where what's my my previous experience, like I mentioned about the technicalities. I think that sometimes extends to my limitations, because I realistically know that this wouldn't work, or this would be would annoy the performer, or would make them feel uncomfortable. Any other limitations? Don't really know. Like it's hard to say. Like yes, I guess I want to just go back to these like technicalities of it. Because also like my experience as a theater designer, it's limited. Like I mean, I don't have yet as much like realistic experience. Of course, like I've done quite a lot of this and that, but you know, as a professional. So I think I still have quite a lot to learn and to take off my limits and to put the new ones on. Maybe.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Should do this podcast in like 5 years and see what you say.
Yeah, imagine that. Oh God. Probably we'll be listening like, oh my God.
What the fuck are they saying?
Hi, future us. Right.
I don't know if there's anything else to add. I think 30 minutes is good.
Yeah.
Unless you have anything else.
Well, not really. Thank you, Sonia. Actually, it was really interesting to talk to you in early morning.
Yeah, it's nice to get
usually we talk with a like glass of wine. But we should question ourselves and we should talk because like it generates more of a self-awareness and awareness about your art you create, and it's just good.
No, I enjoy this. I learned. I think what I'm going to take from this discussion is putting myself as the performer on my stage.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take out to picture how the objects I put on the stage, how they perform.
Yeah.
With them, right? It's also interesting. Like it's kind of abstract in a way, but
they do have
their existence,
placement,
and some
they play a role.
Meaning. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Anyway.
Right. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And goodbye.
Bye.